these are part of the things we need to look at. We need to make sure that it's also part of our livelihood strategy to discourage all such people, for them to key into the livelihood programs, which is another aspect of the program I'm yet to explain to you. So the mandate of high prep includes remediation of impacted site, as well as livelihood for the people, so that people whose lives were impacted as a result of this could have new skills, be trained to get new skills and entrepreneurship.
You say that more sites are likely to be discovered. What about funding? If more sites are discovered, those sites have to be cleaned up as well, haven't they?
Certainly.
Yes. Somebody's going to pay for that.
And the funding of initial $1 billion was fund for the sites that were assessed at the time.
At that time, yes.
And so it's a continuous process. Like I said, this is only the template to be used across the rest of the region. So as much as there are sites in Ogoni, there are also sites in other parts of the region, but we have to start from somewhere. And funds for each of these projects will have to come up one way or the other as we proceed. But the key thing is that government gave commitment of giving to the project $1 billion, $200 million per year across the first, over the first 5 years. And that commitment is what we're working with.
Have the money started coming in?
It has. It has. The Board of Trustees that is responsible for receiving the money confirmed that this money is with them, the first tranche, as we speak.
Okay. Yeah. While there's this cleanup going on, are there discussions with the IOCs to minimize the level of pollution that happens so that we don't keep causing a lot of damage and having to spend money cleaning up all the time?
You know, the issue to the environmental issues in the region is one that requires all of us. It requires the IOCs, the communities, the regulators, the government, the security. So as a team, we are going to have to address this thing because repollution is something that is of concern to us as a project. It is also of concern to us as a nation because when you sabotage our oil facilities, you are affecting our economy. You are affecting our income as a people. Then the people who are involved in these things, there are health implications for them. Then now look at the consequent environmental issues arising from these activities. So it's a huge problem that we all need to sit down and come up with a way forward. And for us at High Prep, the livelihood aspect of the program is intended to address those things, to get those guys off the creeks into a normal lifestyle by way of giving them new skills and training.
Okay, you said to me about the kind of test and analysis you've had to do so far. One of those was you were supposed to look at the health, provide water, alternative water supply, then the health implications, a health project. Then you're looking at a new way of livelihood, right?
Yeah.
So how far have you gone with all of this?
Well, with the health, I explained we did some bit of outreach earlier, which is
20,000 surgeries so far,
exactly,
and more still coming up.
Patients, about 400 surgeries. That is the initial step in gathering the data. You need some initial data to kickstart that process.
Okay.
And it's a process that, again, we're talking with international partners, national partners to put in place. And we've also advertised the procurement process for securing those experts. With water, again, we have advertised for the companies that will come in. We've done a mapping of the systems of the facilities in the area, again, so that we could get the companies to do that. But the key thing is this. As a project, we have delivered quite a few things. The first thing we did was to do a sensitization activity, operation. What that means is that we had to go to the community and let the community understand the value of this project to them. Because before we access any site, we first of all go to the community and we tell them, we are going to be in your community and we are going to be carrying out XYZ activity in your community, and these activities are for your benefit. And this activity is to help remediate your impacted land, is to help clean your water. So there is need for you to support. And I am happy to announce to you that the Ogoni people have shown tremendous support, encouragement to the project. They have supported us from April last year to date, every field activity. And the the kings, different paramount rulers in Ogoni land, they've gone ahead to even donate land for us to use for project activities. We had land donated by Suhano Baridam. We have land donated by His Majesty GNK Giniwa. We have land donated by His Highness Bebe Opabi. And we have land donated by the leadership in Gokana, different communities as well. So these are all goodwill shown by the community as a way of support to the project and believing that the process is a credible one.
Okay.
And so we're here to live up to that expectation.
Okay. Another thing that is affected by the degradation is the employment of the people. What is High Prep doing in that regard?
Well, actually, one of the things we did, again, giving ownership of this project to the local community is actually one of the cardinal objectives of the project. And so one of the first things we did, for example, before we started the demonstration project, we thought we would need manpower. And we're not talking about low-level manpower, we're talking about skilled manpower. And so we put together a group of Ogoni scientists, which we have trained in basic remediation and sampling techniques. I'm pleased to announce to you that these were the same scientists that were used to manage and supervise the demonstration project. They are expertise, people that we got from the community, conscious effort to ensure that the people carried along. So that...
Yeah, what I'm referring to is actually the low level. The common man in Ogoni who's a fisherman, who can't fish anymore and stuff like that, the one who's a little farmer, who can't do any of that anymore. What happens to him? That is where we capture them under the livelihood project. So that is where we're going to train them in new skills. We're going to give them entrepreneurship opportunities. We're going to that the livelihood aspect of this project captures all such people, the youth, the women, and those fishermen and farmers whose sources of income have been impacted by spills.
Forgive me, but I'd like to talk to see how much of impact you're making already, because you were the one that gave a timeline of since 2011 the UNEP report came out and nothing was done. So it's 2016, some level of activity started. 2017, the infrastructure was put in place. You came on board. 2018, here's where we are. You mentioned 16 locations for test remediation.
Okay.
Well, my producer put out some videos and I saw people with shovels in some sites turning the soil. And all. Question is that part of the test remediation?
No, the test remediation phase is gone. We've gone into scoping.
No, those videos, see that now.
Those ones.
Is that what they were doing there? Is that...
Yeah, that is what they were doing at the time.
Okay.
Now,
so what was the result from those test remediation?
The result was that we were able to evaluate the companies. We now know that there are companies with capacity within Nigeria as well as with the internationals, which we now went ahead and advertised officially for these companies to now come in and carry out the work. We have done that exercise. We have advertised. We have pre-qualified the companies. List of all those companies that will eventually, if they scale through our technical and commercial processes, eventually will be selected. That process and the timeline for it, it's what we are working with.
When you say technical and commercial, how do you mean? Commercial, is it supposed to be a money-making venture? Okay,
now what it is that we're just working according to our procurement laws, the procurement laws of Nigeria. Because if you were going to award a contract to any company, you needed to go through certain processes. You need to pre-qualify the company. First of all, you need to receive all submissions. Okay, then you need to pre-qualify the submission according to them meeting both our statutory and regulatory requirements. Then you go ahead to test. To check for, assess for their technical capacity to do the work. And after you do that, you test for their financial, commercial or financial capacity to do the work. Then before you then select the companies that you will award to. So that process is what we're just concluding, in the process of concluding. So eventually, we are going to get the companies that will go to the field and carry out the work.
Again, forgive me, but I want to sound here like a lay Nigerian who doesn't know anything.
Right.
You're talking commercial. Yes, you're going through procurement laws of Nigeria. You're talking about commercial capabilities. These people are coming to work, and you pay them at the end of the day, right? the commercial is it the ability to get the equipment they need. They've already told you that, shown you that they have the equipment. They've told you that they have the technical capabilities. That's why you now advertise for them to come in. What other part of it do we